I know you guys didn't think I abandoned you, right? I know you guys didn't think that I was gonna just leave you bare, starving for an entire month. We here. I know you guys been waiting for me to talk about Admirals versus Yonko, all that different stuff. But right now we're gonna talk about something pretty important, but somewhat disappointing. And I'm gonna tell you guys why it's a bit disappointing. When the break was announced, right, it was also announced that Oda's gonna drop some scrapped ideas and different things in regards to One Piece that he never really talked about. And so that's dropped, right? And it's the first installment of the Road to LAUGHTALE. Again, Oda will be talking about scrapped ideas, and it seems to be a lot of recap. When this was first announced, I was really excited just because of what I expected to be covered. Based on what we have here, for the most part, it's not that exciting for us.
What do you mean by that?
When I say us, people that are diehards and are already invested in this shit. So most of these connections we've already made, but either way, we're gonna talk about what Oda's trying to tell us here because I think it is important, and everyone that watches my videos are not diehards, okay? So for some people, they may not have seen this coming, so we're here to shed some light on some of these things, okay?
Okay.
Poneglyph ってやつなんだ。ただの文化遺産かと思ってたが、まさかの最後の島を示す俺たちに必要な地図でもあったんだ。
The Road to LAUGHTALE starts out talking about Roger and somewhat encapsulating his entire journey and hinting that we're on the precipice of the next Pirate King. This moment, even Roger laughing, is a very important precursor because this is the beginning of everything for us. And so this collage of panels is just tying things together and telling a story in one page, of course including Luffy and even Kaido, and also showing us exactly where we are. Because remember when Luffy and Zoro and even Sanji talked about, hey, if we get this W, Luffy will be much closer to becoming the Pirate King. And they got the W. So that's where we are. As we move on is basically a timeline of events based on what we know. Talked about Roger's birth, formation of the Roger Pirates. We don't know exactly when that was. That's still a mystery. They're being vague with when Roger became known as a rookie. They're accurate about reaching Lodestar, and for the most part accurate about things that we already know. God Valley, where he fought with Garp, when he got his disease, the Battle of the Ed War, when he took Odin, when he conquered the Grand Line, and then when he surrendered himself in Logtown. So again, this is recapping. And for some people, they may not have followed all the things that they were talking about, but they talked about something really important here. They not only touched on Roger's weapon, his blade named Ace. Some people may know about that. That was released recently. The name of Roger's blade, I made a video about that. But they mentioned his romance with Rouge, Shanks's tears, and also Roger's true dream. Now, these are things we've already talked about on this channel. Not necessarily his romance with Rouge, because I think it is really interesting that she was also a D. Like if Roger was seeking her out for a specific reason, Roger did imply that his son was going to be the man to become the Pirate King or find the One Piece. Maybe he did go and search out Rouge. Either way, they talked about that, so I believe Oda will expound upon that at some point. Talked about Ace, so that will be expounded upon. Shanks's tears, what were they for? And also Roger's true dream. We still don't know what that is, and a lot of people talk about Roger becoming a Pirate King. That has nothing to do with Roger's true dream. Odin and Whitebeard's reactions to his true dream, that's what we still don't know about. That's still a major mystery, right? And it's saying here, what could such a great man still desire? So again, it's touching upon things that we typically already know, or you would know if you followed this channel, or if you're diehard of One Piece, because it's not that difficult to piece things together. Then we get into the road poneglyphs. This collage of panels goes all the way back to Professor Clover, right? Where they talked about the different types of poneglyphs and what they do and their purposes, etc. For people that still don't know what the poneglyphs are for and the different type of poneglyphs that we have, this is the page for you to catch you up all the way from Professor Clover, where they even talk about the Kuzuki clan being able to transcribe the messages, right? Information about the ancient kingdom and how the Straw Hats obtained the poneglyphs that they have now. But the most important thing I think from this first edition of the Road to LAUGHTALE is what is implied in this specific page.
赤い石、ロードポーネグリフは世界に4つある。
So one thing we know for a fact is that the Straw Hats, they're missing the final poneglyph. And what it's saying here is, hey, where is the final road poneglyph? Now, this could mean Oda's trying to throw us off by naming 3 places. And in my opinion, I don't think it's any of these. But this may be the layout of places we will visit. So the first thing is Elbaf, saying that Elbaf could probably have the final road poneglyph. We don't know, possibly. The next place is Vira. Vira is actually a town that Nolan went to. And it was mentioned back in chapter 228 because it was a coup d'etat incited by the Revolutionary Army. But this is pretty interesting that Vira is being mentioned. Do we go back to Vira for whatever reason? The final island is full of lead. Now, this is very important because again, we're in the final saga. If we go to Elbaf, Vera, and then Fullerled, it makes a lot of sense. Reason being, we go to Elbaf, we find out information about the giants, they're connected to Shanks, that's where Luffy meets Shanks. We go to Vera. For whatever reason, I cannot pinpoint, but we go there, and while we're in Vera, that's when Shanks versus Blackbeard occurs. Now, why do we go to Fullerled? Because Luffy's going to avenge Shanks by fighting Blackbeard. Blackbeard has the final word, Poneglyph. Whomever wins makes their way to LAUGHTALE, right? It makes a ton of sense. Now, personally, I think we go to Lodestar as well. I just think it's very important for Luffy to do everything Roger has done and then some. But either way, this is very important information because Oda is somewhat hinting that, hey, this may be one of the islands which has the final word Poneglyph, or this may be our next route. You may say this is spoiling, but I don't know, guys. I don't know. The next page is a collage of rocks, where it talks about rocks being Roger's most formidable enemy, Kaido's crew, Big Mom, how the former members of the Rocks Pirates will go on to be very infamous. But the most important thing here is, again, Oda confirming things we already knew, where it references Blackbeard and his connection to Zebek, because it says here, Blackbeard's ship is known as the Saber Zebek. If you've been following this channel, you know this. But again, this is connecting the dots. It's almost catching you up to very imperative shit that we will cover in the final saga. Captain John's treasure. How does this tie into Buggy? All these things are very important. Again, this is an amazing recap chapter because these things will be touched upon again in the final saga. That's why I believe this is so important. The final part of this is the scrapped concepts. The Straw Hat Raid outfits, what they were supposed to be Oda's thoughts. Nami's and Robin's outfits, right? They were supposed to be geishas or kunoichis. The most exciting thing, I guess, is Kiku was someone who was planned from the get-go, but also Hitetsu was supposed to be one of the scabbards, right? And they were supposed to be originally the 7 scoundrels, but Hitetsu was going to be one of them, and there were only going to be a group of 4. Maybe we should have kept that. It'd have been more concise, less characters to focus on. Either way, it doesn't matter. But Hitetsu being one of them makes sense now, knowing that he's Sukiyaki, but it's like that old of a man fighting against Kaido is like, if you don't die, yeah. But either way, I think it's very important information because it is connecting the dots for people that haven't been following as closely and almost letting you know these are the things that will be important moving forward and you need to be abreast of what's going on. So that's why I recommend this chapter. That's why I'm covering it, because I think it's very important, right? Oda is somewhat leaving clues as to where we're going to go next and things that will be imperative. So guys, give me your thoughts. What do you feel about all this? What's the most interesting thing to you after reading through it? For me, easily Elbaf, Vera, and Fullerled. So very interesting, right? But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost.